Hi, welcome back to another episode of Coffee Spills and Pineapples. Today I have a special guest from the south of Italy, Alessandro L'Abbate.
Hello,
How are you?
Very good. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming. And
Pleasure.
as usual, we make coffee. We take our coffee, we go to the room and have a conversation with you and talk about Egypt, Spain, Italy, Armenia.
And take care because about coffee, you know, I'm Italian and on coffee I'm very straight.
No cappuccino after 11:30. Alessandro, it was really nice meeting you by chance in the streets of Yerevan, working in Armenia, and it's been almost a year, very soon.
Exactly, in July. We will celebrate this first year operating actually because this Ciao Armenia, which is my brand, is began actually on the 1st of July. And that's amazing. That's really amazing. I feel like I'm almost in heaven.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
Why do you feel like you're in heaven?
You like to make betting, you know. You like to bet in a place or an idea. My bet was on Yerevan. I was looking for a new place to relocate myself. I wanted to have a new project, find new something new, some
adventure,
new feelings, adventures,
yeah.
Exactly. And then I came here and I thought, wow, this is an European capital outside of Europe.
But before you came to Armenia, you didn't come from Italy, right?
No.
Okay, you came from?
Well, in the last 12 years, I used to live in the Canary Islands, in Tenerife, actually.
Oh, okay.
Which is part of Spain, but only politically, because geographically is Africa. We are 7 islands in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, close to Morocco. When I went to the Canary Islands in 2014 for the first time, British were the first group, expats group, yes.
Yeah, of course.
And now Italians are the biggest one.
Oh, they're the biggest ones. So you have a whole community of Italians, and so the language is you're speaking in Italian. You're operating in Italian, of course, also in Spanish, but
of course, but mostly in Italian because my customers are Italian. I'm a radio editor.
Yeah, I can tell from how you're speaking, the way you're sitting, and the way you're expressing yourself. You're a radio announcer.
You think so? Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? I was 24 years old.
That's quite young. Yeah.
I decided to go around the world, or maybe to go look for something different. So my first experience was to go to Egypt, Red Sea shores.
Egypt. Before you went to Spain, you went to Egypt.
Exactly. It was 2008. I went to Sharm el Sheikh. I got a job as a hotel entertainer, which was very bad paid.
Right.
The most interesting thing was that when I got there, I wasn't expecting even to be paid, but for me it was okay. They give me a room, they give me food 3 times a day, and they even pay me. Wow! To make what? To make party the whole time. That was one of the best job experience of my life.
So interesting, because you learn in this process. What was the learning outcomes that you said? Okay, this is great. Now I can take this and go create something?
Well, I was quite lucky actually because the company, the hotel chain was very Egyptian. It was fully Egyptian, but with a German management. So they hired me German. Because I could speak at least good German. So German, they teach me one of the best things I still use, which is the professionality on job. Italians, we are creative, but we are not really organized in the things. Germans are maybe not so creative, but
punctual. They are organized.
Exactly.
And we know this even myth-wise, right? It's like even a stereotype. I would even say like Germans are so, Italians are so. but we all learn from each other, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
What was a coffee spill in Egypt? Something that you expected and it didn't happen, because we understand that there was a lot of pineapples, the salary, the pay, the food, the partying, the learning skills. But what was wrong?
What was wrong was the 2011, all of a sudden come the revolution. The tourism industry was on the window looking what is happening now in Egypt.
There was even violence towards tourists, foreign tourists. So it became dangerous.
Of course, no. When in every situation, when it comes to desperation, the people take the worst thing they have inside to survive. So everything changed around me, and in that moment, I don't know why I had a very young girlfriend who she wanted to go to another place, so we relocate in Mallorca.
So she was the reason.
She was the reason, yes. The point is that when you decide to follow someone, it's another bet also. But then we arrived in Mallorca, and the first day we got there, she quit with me.
Oh, she broke up.
Yeah, she broke up.
The first day.
The first day.
That's a big coffee spill.
Exactly.
That is a major coffee spill. So what did you do?
I said, okay, first let me open the luggage. I just arrived. But then I said, okay, let me check. So my first approach with Spain was not very, very nice, very beautiful. But anyway, I kept on working in Mallorca. I didn't have that much fun, maybe because of this, or maybe also because Spain was completely different for mentality, even in the business. The hotel business was not the same like in Egypt. Of course, as I said, I began as a hotel entertainer, then I became entertainment manager, then public relation manager. So I was growing in the hotel industry.
There was a growth that happened in the German-run hotel in Egypt.
Exactly. So I was really thinking about maybe the possibility to have a chance, a career in the hotel industries. I went back to Italy, and since when I was 10 years old, I started to work at the radio station. So I went to Rome, and I started to make a radio host and journalist in the radio station in Rome.
Wait a minute, you started working in radio when you were 10?
10 years old.
Can you tell us about this? Because it sounds like fascinating. I mean, a 10-year-old doing radio. What kind of radio and for who?
Well, this is something that I'm very proud of. I mean, now, 33 years later, I'm still at the radio. But when I was 10 years old, I had the chance to get in a radio station in my village. Very small radio station, yes, and it's a miracle every day because this radio station is a Catholic radio station. So what we do is only by donation by the people. Yes, that's very interesting actually model.
How did you start at 10 years old?
Just knocked at the door. I said, this is the radio station. Can I try? I say, and the one who was there who was crazier than me and said, yes, why don't you sit?
Yes, of course.
It was really like this.
But this shows a really interesting thing about opportunities, right? Sometimes you have to knock on the door.
Yes.
And it's as simple as that. Since I was young, this is exactly the lessons that I learned is if I don't ask, there is no possibility for someone to say yes or no.
You can't imagine how many opportunities I lost in my life because maybe I was afraid to be rejected.
Right.
You have to be brave in your life. This is the first law I wrote down when I make my manual as an entrepreneur. Allow people to say no.
But now I see that, I mean, speaking about Spain and then Egypt, and we talked about this radio station now at 10 years old, I see that you are quite brave. I mean, you don't see yourself as brave, but it feels like you have taken lots of uncertain things and tried them. You've challenged yourself, taken yourself out of a comfort zone.
probably on some things are brave and some other not.
Yeah,
I define myself a successful loser.
But this is also true because of your age, perhaps. I think in your 20s you're sort of thinking of or trying things, and then in your 30s, now that you know what you want, you want to make it happen. And then in the 40s, it's happened, and you sort of excel and try and start making the money and really is being established. And in your 50s, you want to start not rushing anymore. And this is where I am. I am in the place where I'm trying to slow down. Even my conversations, even my tone and my spoken word is slower, sometimes annoyingly slower. Even for me, I want to be faster sometimes, and then I say, no, don't rush. Take your time to say what you're thinking and say it the way you want to say it. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. But this is who I am right now.
When you start to make plans as a couple with my wife in this case, they say, okay, maybe when we are 55, 60, we can retire ourselves in Italy. Okay, I know that I will never consider myself in retirement. Never. I will keep on working and doing. I've been lucky in my life.
The concept of retirement in a capitalistic way is, at a certain age you stop working, you get your retirement funds and fees and whatever, the welfare paycheck and so on. But in reality, as humans, we can be constantly in the process of creating and thinking and doing and helping and learning. So I don't think this concept, the capitalistic concept at least, of retirement at a specific age is something that I adhere to, and I haven't for a long time.
When I came to Yerevan for the first time, I said, okay, I came here now, and I don't come to Yerevan to teach something, because maybe I have to learn something from these people.
First, yeah, of course.
And the second thing I said to myself is, okay, now what can I do for this place? Mm-hmm. That's why I began Ciao Armenia. It's my first project, which is going very well, but it's only the first. Probably many others are coming.
So you're now only 43.
Yes.
And, I started my agency when I was 36. And, 20 years later, now it's 20 years that the agency exists. I've done so much. I've learned so much. I've touched many people, and so many people taught me, and I taught them. And I think that was part of the experience. And I'm quite happy with that. Some of the podcast episodes that I've had in the past have taught me also that there is no age where you change your life. Yes, there is a time where you feel it's now the time. And for some people it's 30, for some people it's 50. And I even know some people from in their 70s that left everything, moved to another country, met new people, made new friends. This is a huge thing to do. It's not easy. And at 70, when you're doing this, you're taking a big risk.
Absolutely, of course. I'm expecting when I will be 70 that I don't have to worry more about many other things. Now I have children, I have things, so of course when you make a step, you think twice or even 4 times about anything. But then it's going to be, of course, different. The point is, I've been lucky in my life because I could have the chance to make always a job that I choose.
Since 10 years old.
Yes, exactly. And this is luck from one side, but it's dangerous from another side. Because when you enjoy too much what you do, sometimes you keep on doing things just for your pleasure. Ego, for pleasure.
Let's talk about the digital part of your radio. Did you adapt? Did you go digital?
Well, we go digital, but still we have FM in the Canary Islands, which is something that sooner or later will stop. The only reason is that we still have an important amount of income coming from the local advertising. And this is something that must change.
If we were to step further back, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're talking specifically about your radio station
Yes.
and that specific challenge of, I guess, funding, making it sustainable in terms of advertisement and other kinds of revenue streams. If you were to step further back and look at it at a bigger picture, what is actually the big challenge rather than just look at the advertisers?
Well, everything is on the business model. This is the main point. They teach us, I mean, the people are from our generations. We grew watching the TV or listening to the radio, and every 15 minutes there's a commercial.
Right.
This is not anymore the model.
Because now we watch Netflix and there's no advertising, and we pay for the streaming.
Exactly. But that's a very important thing, because even Netflix and all the platform industry,
Prime and so on,
gave us the chance to change this model and maybe to use, not to use a content as a reason to broadcast also the advertising, but it's exactly the opposite. So this is the content economy, and this is the most important challenge, that if you don't adapt it, because it's not that we have to do it now because tomorrow. This is already happening.
This is now, yes.
It's already happening.
Adapt.
We have to adapt. That's all.
So interesting that you gave us the challenge of today, which is the digital transformation and the content-driven economy. So how would that change in 10 years?
Well, difficult to say, because this is changing so fast, actually. It's changing so fast. Now we have this other challenge, which is the AI.
Yes.
Which I'm not afraid, actually, because I know the human being will survive. First, because AI, anyway, has a big limit. This is generating any kind of content, but based on
already existing information.
Exactly. Tomorrow they will start to recycle, and there's going to be new content based on artificial intelligence content, and there is going to be a photocopy, then a photocopy, and a photocopy. So
there is a big risk and a big challenge also from the demand side. So when the demand is satisfied with a photocopy, which is cheaper than a new creation, which requires innovation, which requires human thinking and creativity, which becomes more expensive. And now the demand side will also dictate, how much that creativity is going to be worth. And I'm not just talking about financially worth, quality-wise. What is going to be the value of this?
The quality is what is going to save all the industries, because I'm pretty sure that sooner or later, if you maybe you can have cheap food every day, but at the 10th day you want a beautiful steak, or it's normal. It's not everything is based on money.
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank God. This is not going to
it's short-lived. It's exactly. Something that will be. It's like a bling bling,
Exactly.
So you see this bling bling and you are happy for a little bit, but then you want it to be sustained. You want that to work. You want that to be quality outputs.
Every technology, when it comes out in something new, it's quite expensive. It's new on the market, but then with the time, everything is going to be accessible, because it's something that you have to sell. It's technology, is consuming technology. What you cannot buy, what you have to, it's what every one of us need to feel sometimes. We need to feel special, and to feel special, we need someone who smiles to you, who take care of you. So this is something that a robot will never do.
Yeah, let's move a little bit more to how we tell stories and how we use those tools that we have, either through AI or through a traditional broadcast. What kind of stories are we telling today that will resonate for a long time with the current generation? And I'm talking about, when I say current generation, people in their 20s, in their teenage years, because those are really the consumers of the content that is being created mostly today. So what are the narratives that you are putting out there? What kind of stories are you telling? What is the method or the approach that you want to tell the stories with?
Well, everything must be very personal. I think we can talk about this podcast, and I can tell my vision, and it's my own vision. But if I ask Raffi,
it may be different.
It's surely different.
Yeah.
And this is what makes the things great, because really when you have different point of view and you have different feelings, different sensation, this is something you can watch 3 different movies about Giulio Cesare, but every movie is different.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. So the point of view, and I'm pretty sure that the content economy is going to be always very personal by who is the content maker.
Yeah, the storyteller.
Exactly.
So a lot of the times, and we see it today, and I think maybe historically, those who write stories, those who tell the stories, are the people in power. I think this new, the internet and digital platforms have created democratic platforms where people can create their own content, and the owner does not necessarily be the powerful in the sense of what I explained earlier. So how different are these narratives of people who are not in power?
This is something absolutely, I can say it's the problem of today, the problem for this kind of content creation. Sometimes everyone can have the feelings that everyone can make a video and be a YouTuber. No, because you need to have to know the knowledge on how to do a successful video, how to know to do a successful podcast. So you need to study these things, and it's even difficult because since we said that everything changed very quickly, especially in this kind of market, you must be on time, you must be on these things, and always keeping yourself learning new techniques. Sometimes I'm pretty sure that maybe who has no power, who has nothing, but can still have a good story to tell. The biggest challenge I had I still facing, it's that 33 years ago, when I was 10 years old, I began to be a radio host. So my communication skills were based on that kind of style. When I started to make regularly videos and I make a very short storytelling about Armenia every day. This was the most important, the biggest challenge I had to face, because I wasn't ready to to make a nice storytelling, interesting storytelling for the people who are listening to me in only 90 seconds.
So there are genuinely authentic videos coming out of these places telling us a story that, let's say, the CNN and BBC and NBCs of the world, even Al Jazeera, and I'm not just stating Western media, those medias are giving us a story that is not necessarily in line with what the authentic stories are coming out from the streets, from the villages, right?
Exactly.
Today in Lebanon, the situation is catastrophic. We see how villages have been razed completely. And this is, I say Lebanon because I have family and friends who live in that country. And it's devastating, right?
Sure.
The stories we hear is about, how Israel is fighting Hamas and Hezbollah. But in reality, real humans, everyday people, are losing their homes, their families, their networks, their neighborhoods, their ancestral legacy. So these are stories that come out, and this is where the power of the internet and the new digital media has actually allowed for people who don't have the power to say it. And the most recent one would be, I would say, Iran, where we saw live what was happening in the streets. And then later, weeks later, we started reflecting how much of that was actually true and how much of that was fabricated. Because now we have another issue. Yeah, another challenge is to try and figure out what content is real, what is fake. And this is going to be a really big challenge for communicators, people like you and who are in the news or information business, to be able to say what I'm telling you is true. It's not created, it's not made up. I need to build trust with you as the one who's communicating with me.
Let me first say that I feel very, very sorry for all these people who are now suffering for it. We need to understand that sometimes information, especially the TV, the traditional media, they have a message which is very short and very condensed of many information in a few seconds. Sometimes it's true. And I, as a radio editor, I know based on a model, advertising based, let's say like this. So sometimes you cannot publish some news because maybe you will lose some advertisers. Mm-hmm. That is the challenge which is changing now the game. The game changing comes because if it's not anymore the advertising, which the one who's paying the salaries in your TV or in your content creation, and maybe are just the users, the ones who pay because they have now, like Netflix, or their subscriptions, then you are absolutely interested in publish more authentic content.
Alessandro, I'd like to change a little bit the direction of our conversation. Mm-hmm. I think we talked a lot about the technology, we talked about narratives, we talked about corporations. So now you've created this Ciao Armenia, which is a new business for you. Mm-hmm. And this is how you're going to, I'm assuming, create new content, new stories, new narratives. So if I were to say coffee spills pineapples, what's the biggest pineapple so far? I know there are many because I heard many already. But what's the biggest pineapple that you want to share with us maybe?
The biggest one I think is on a personal plan. My family, my nuclear family, my wife and kids. This is the biggest thing. I say thank you God every day for it because meeting my wife, I used to say that she saved my life.
Wow, okay.
Yes, I met her in the right moment for me, and she gave me the support to be stable. I was on a roller coaster in my life before meeting her, having a lot of fun, of course.
Yeah.
But
finding the right person can happen at any time in your life, and I'm glad that you found this person.
Yes.
And it seemed that I really like what you said, saved your life. This is a very big statement. And having kids?
Having kids was even more interesting, let's say. First because when I met my wife, she already had one child. Mm-hmm. This child never met his father. So for me, I didn't even think about it. For me was...
You took that role.
Yes.
You took the role of father.
He was 7 years old. Now he's going to turn 18 these days. So for me, it's like he's my son, of course. But I had the chance to adapt myself in a moment that I never thought about in my life, to be a father. I always tell him that, thank him, I had the chance to learn how to be a father, which is a second thing, because after some years, in 2019, I had one little girl, which is perfectly half Armenian, half Italian. So.
Wow. I can imagine, the kind of woman she's going to grow, because Armenian women and Italian women are very strong in character, and anything she wants, she will get. So this is very good. But fatherhood is a very interesting theme. Mm-hmm. I even had a Facebook page called Enjoying Fatherhood, and I would share my experiences, but also other stories of different fathers and fatherhood. And I think that was an important thing to talk about, because for a long time in our communities, in our societies, we sort of forgot to talk about the role of the father. The mothers took on a lot of the responsibilities, and we were okay as men to say, take care of the children, the education, the food, the house, everything. I'm going to go to work, make the money, but that's not enough, because as adults, we also bring something to the table. Absolutely. We also connect with that child. So that happens, in the playground, that happens around the dinner table, that happens maybe after school, doing homework together, or even just going to watch a concert or walk in the park or something like. Those are the important parts where the father has a role, and that role is very, very important in the child's overall psychology. Yes. So I have 4 children, and it was a very different experience with my first one, the last one. So 26 is the oldest, and 15 is the youngest. So you can see there's a wide gap and a learning curve, right? Sure. So the learning curve. And it's very interesting to see that you inherited the role of a father without starting from the beginning. How challenging was that?
I met my wife in a day, and the following day she left. So it was like love at first sight. It was October, and 2 months later I went to Moscow to see her again. It was February, and in June we were married.
Wow, not even a year after you met.
No, 6 months.
So it was written in the sky.
Exactly. Exactly. And so the day before, I was a very happy singer guy, all in a radio station, journalist, a DJ, and many other funny things. And the day after, I was husband
Serious
and father.
Man, yeah.
I felt like a big responsibility from the first moment, this I have to say. Seriously, I took it seriously, because I lost my father quite early. I lost my father when I was 11 years old. When I had the challenge of being a father, I took it seriously. Yeah. And I think I did it well. But also this is something that, the pineapples, your success are nothing if you don't have coffee spills. The biggest success always come after your greatest failures. Always. And I say thank you to life, because what is happening, we used to say that what is happening to you is just because life was preparing you
for this, right? So it's never a failure. I mean, it's something that didn't go right. Absolutely. Right? So, but if you don't learn from that, and if you don't make yourself better or make your work better, because it could be work, it could be family, it could be anything, then that's where you actually fail. Exactly. Not the fact that things didn't go the way you planned.
Sure. You know the story of Pinocchio?
Yes, of course.
Pinocchio, no?
Yeah.
Pinocchio, he was a wooden, burattino.
Puppet, yeah.
Exactly, puppet. And he wanted to be human. And in the story, when you read the story, you say, oh, come on, Pinocchio, don't do it. They say to you not to do it. Why you want to do it? But he made his mistakes. He makes every mistake only once. So he earns the right to be human in the end, just making all mistakes.
That's a very great analogy, and I think that's a great way to bring us to the end of our podcast. Storytelling is a very important part of what we talk about, how we tell stories, what kind of stories, and there's always something to learn from the story. And thank you for bringing this up.
Thank you. But can I make you a question?
Yeah.
But this Raffi, this is coming from Raffaello, or like the painter, or
non è italiano.
Non è italiano.
No.
Where is it coming from?
This is an Armenian name. Well, at least we say it's an Armenian name because it follows an Armenian novelist, an Armenian born in Iran. He's a writer, and his pen name is Raffi, and he wrote beautiful novels, historic novels, and so on. So in my generation, there's many Raffis, especially in the diaspora, and even in my class we had 4 Raffis. So this was a very common name, like maybe Alessandro is in Italy.
Yeah. I learned something new.
Yeah. So yeah, this is where my name comes from. Yeah, it's Raffi, and I wear it with pride, and I think this is it's a great story to tell people also.
Great. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. Again, thanks for being here. This is Coffee Spills and Pineapples. Please follow us, share, and subscribe.